Hi everyone, quick video, massaging with the tennis ball, shoulders, back, hips to alleviate pain in those areas. Using the wall, bring the ball right in against one buttock cheek, right in the middle of the buttock. Lean in against the wall, roll the ball up and down, side to side. Massaging into those areas just like a bear against a tree. You can roll it right round to the side, up and down into that little groove between the thigh bone and your hip bone. You can roll it right into and around on the sacrum, just not pressing too hard. Obviously it's a bit bony. And also there's a trigger point right in the middle of the buttock area called piriformis trigger point. And that can help if you press in against that and stay there until that loosens a little bit or releases a little bit. It can help alleviate pain down into the back and side of the leg. Maybe 30 seconds, but you'll feel it start to ease off. So we're just doing one side of the body today, but feel free to rewind the video and do the other side, or once you know how, I'm sure you won't need this video again. So then we're taking it just into the lower back area. So I've got the arc of my hip there, so the top of the hip, and I've got the base of my rib cage there, the bones of the ribs about there, and we're going just below and in between those 2 points into that lower back. You can feel that it's a really broad, sort of long, there's layers of that muscle called paraspinals. So you're just rolling that up and down again, left to right, whatever feels like it needs it. There are some trigger points deep in the side there, so you might want to press into them a little bit more. Of course, it depends on how much pressure you really want to work with. Okay, and then from there we're going to between the spine and the shoulder blade. So obviously I've got my spine down the center of my back, and I've got my shoulder blade running down, the medial border running down alongside the spine. So we're going to go right between those 2 points. This can often be a little bit tender, painful, but does a lot to relieve that pain in the shoulders, that tension in the shoulders. So probably wouldn't roll this on the spine, it's a bit harsh. Okay, and you do this probably for longer than what I'm demonstrating, of course. And then the last area is the top of the shoulder, or just below the top of the shoulder, and into these trapezius muscles. So they run all the way from your neck down, they span out to the edge of the shoulder, and they run diagonally down toward your spine. So we're going to work into that area there, maybe even just into the base of the neck. So you'll need to turn a little bit side on, and if you're using a tennis ball, you might just need to kind of hold it because it can sometimes slip upwards. Just into whatever area. Again, there's trigger points in there that you might just want to push into and breathe and let it release. Okay, and then from there into the shoulder itself. So if you think of the shoulder blade as like an upside down triangle, with the top going this way, the medial border, as I described before, straight down alongside the spine, and then diagonally in toward your spine there. So we're going to place the ball in the middle of that shoulder blade there. There's a lot of trigger points on that shoulder blade, so it again can be a bit tender. Just push in as much or as little as is necessary, and if there's a particular spot that feels like, oh, it takes your breath away a little bit, then maybe just back off on that, but just keep the pressure a little bit until that eases off. So all around that shoulder blade, right out to the edges of the shoulder and around there. And then the last point on the back of the body is right into the side. You can see my seam of my shirt. It's kind of right at the back of the armpit, if that makes sense. And in there, and again, this is your rotator cuff area, and there's a lot of trigger points in there. So you're just pushing side on into those areas, stopping for any area that feels like it's a bit tight and or needs more work. So that's just through that side, obviously other side. But the one area too that we tend to forget about is the front of the chest and just the below the collarbone here. You can do this by leaning over a table with your arm dangling off the side. You could have your hand under your forehead on the other side. So this is your table here, and then just swinging that arm backward and forward. If you're lying on the, you can do this lying on the floor as well. If you're lying down on your belly, the arm will be circling out to the side. So if you're on the table, arm will just be swinging upward and downward, and if you're on the floor, it'll be coming out to the side. So the placement of it is just below your collarbone and to the side of your sternum. So in there, and then you do that swinging. And about 30 seconds is probably all that it really needs. It can be quite a tender point on people. And then you'd move it out a little bit further, again another 30 seconds, and out until you get just to the, again, that sort of seam of your shirt there, just to the beginning of the armpit there. So that is some massages to help ease off all this tightness that we tend to get around the neck and shoulders, into the back, and even down into the legs. So I hope you enjoy. I hope it's helpful, and let me know if you have any comments.